All right, everyone, we are here with two beautiful, fantastic, lovely ladies. We have Tanya Rad and Raquelle Stevens, who have a new book that is out.
I love doing this when we have somebody with a book.
Minds.
I like how you did that.
Yes, Ria's showing it off, but we're so excited to have you guys in studio.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
We're pumped. Raquelle, we're excited to meet you and talk to you. And
pumped to meet
Tanya,
you guys.
old, long friends.
Yeah, just long time
when
friends.
Raquelle walked in, I felt like I had known her forever. Like first,
I feel the same way about you guys.
I was just like,
energy.
oh, I don't feel like we just met. I feel like
know.
we've known. Maybe because Tanya, we've known you for a while now.
Right.
But
It's like same.
I also just trust anyone that's friends with Tanya. Does that make sense?
100%.
Like I'm just like, if you're close with Tanya, then you have to be like a solid.
I've always
person.
said, I'm like, if someone has a problem with Tanya, I question them. Because Tanya's like salt of the earth, amazing human being.
It would be concerning.
Wow, this is really what I needed today. Thank you guys so much.
So you're in New York. The book is out. How has the response been? What do you guys have planned while you're out here?
We actually just got like the first batch of reviews, like actual people that have read it and written reviews, and they're really good. People like it.
I saw you posting them all over your Instagram story, which was making me laugh
cute.
that you're like refreshing the reviews and you're just posting them, but they were really nice.
No, we're really grateful, and it's vulnerable to put anything out, right? You put out your show, you put out, a book. It's vulnerable, so to see the responses being good, we're really, really grateful, and so we're here for a couple of days. We're doing this. We're doing Good Morning America tomorrow. Couple of other things out here, so we're excited.
Yeah,
It's very fun.
and then like all of our friends are flying out for the weekend.
Oh,
to
cool.
like
Yeah,
hang
we're gonna have
out.
fun.
Yeah, it's.
I think we're gonna go to SNL Saturday night.
Yeah, so like this weekend we're gonna party.
Who I can't remember who's hosting, but Coldplay is playing.
Oh, really?
Pedro Pascal. Oh, yeah. The Last of Us is a great show.
Have you guys ever been to SNL?
And
We have not, but
Coldplay?
I know.
Oh, that's awesome.
It is really cool. Have you guys been before?
Yeah, I weirdly every time I'm in New York, I end up at SNL.
That's so cool.
Somehow, everyone's like,
sounds
"Why are you
amazing."
always
Yeah,
at
I have
SNL?" I'm
not.
like,
I have
I
not.
just love it.
We have friends here who just recently went and they said it's
a great
so
time.
awesome.
It's so nostalgic being there too. The studio, like it hasn't changed since the show started. It's a really good vibe.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
That'll be so much fun. I mean, you guys, this is so exciting. The book, The Sunshine Mind, you can really you can kind of like go through it daily. You can go through it all at one time. It's a lot of wisdom, but really I want to like take it all the way to the beginning because I think our listeners are familiar with Tanya and Scrubbing In and love you and Becca, and you and Raquelle did this book together. So where did this friendship start?
Oh, well, our friendship started, we met at a Bible study like almost 10 years ago now.
Okay.
And so, and Raquelle has been one of those friends that is just always there. Like she's consistent, she's constant, she's like a rock, like literally a rock in my life. Like you've been from day one. And it's really cool that we actually have this devotional now because anytime like I'm shaken or if I have work stuff going on or when I was dating and I was going up and down with all that, she would always send me like a Bible scripture and like it would always put me at peace. And so she was the perfect person to do the book with because it was just like such a true depiction of our relationship. And the crazy thing is, and you guys will appreciate this, I had written a book proposal before this one that I spent a lot of time and money on, and it went, nobody wanted it. It was like left on the cutting, rejected. And I went on the podcast, we did our highs and lows of the year, and I was like, started crying because I was like, I spent so much time on this book and nobody wanted it, but I'm going to keep going. Like, I'm not going to give up. And a scrub sister reached out and was like, I really believe in you. I want to connect you with my aunt who works in publishing, blah, blah, blah. So it was like, it all started like kind of going in a positive direction. That's when Raquelle got looped in.
And it was during the middle of the pandemic. So it was a time where there was a lot of darkness, a lot of unrest in the world, really. And so when Tanya approached me, she said, how would you feel about doing a devotional book together? My devotional has helped me so much, she said. And I was like, me too. I would love that. And then even when we came up with the name, we were thinking about like how dark everything had been. And we're like, we want to put out something that's light filled. So then we're thinking of words like what has to do with light, whatever. And then we thought sunshine. And I think that, we'll get into it more, but that's kind of how it came about. And it was an immediate yes for me. Like there was no questions when Tanya asked me about it. I'm like, she's the perfect partner.
Yeah.
It's the perfect thing to put out. The time is right.
You guys look like sunshine. Does that make sense? Like you guys
thank
just
you.
look as people. You just look like sunshine.
You're the
Thank you so much.
Wow.
It's true, and it matches the book.
Yeah, it does. And one of the first things that you wrote, Tanya, I'm annoyingly optimistic.
Yeah.
Do you get that a lot
all
people
the
tell
time.
you that?
Yeah.
Because sometimes I see your stories and I'm like, this bitch. I mean, every day she's just so positive.
The thing is, I think why we won the Sunshine Mind, because it's really a mindset. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, there's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of bad, but I really feel like in the mundane and in the minutia of your life, like you can find such beautiful moments in your day-to-day things. And so I really try and do that. And I think it's like really helped me.
But I want to say too as well. So Tanya and I met, like she said, almost 10 years ago. And when we met, Tanya was kind of in the beginning of her career still. And she was dealing with a lot from, many different people in her work saying, you're too this, you're too that, you're too positive, you're too, people aren't going to accept you. They're not going to like you. You have to change. You have to be more this way. And Tanya never compromised on who she is. And she has grown, but she's never changed her heart. She's never changed her optimism. And so many people, their lives really have been changed by that. And so I really do admire that you have stayed true to who you are, because it's not easy, especially when people are telling you you're this, you're that, to kind of come against that and remain positive.
But people talk a lot about like toxic positivity, and I'm like, I acknowledge when I've cried on the air so many times. Like, I acknowledge I'm sad, I'm having a bad day, I'm going through something, but I don't let myself just sit in that. I'll just, like I'll let myself feel it, and then I'll move on or like find something to feel better about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I will say I do look forward to your Instagram stories every day. Like, like there's some people out there that you like skip through. Yeah. And you're like, like you, like I'm like watching each one. Like I know what you and your boyfriend and your dog are up to all the time. What as creepy as that sounds.
Well, what came first, the name of the book or Sunny, the name for your dog?
Okay, so it's funny because the book, actually, we have the book title.
Tanya, I never even thought about that. Sunny and the Sunshine Line.
But it's not like I couldn't just name my dog because it was my boyfriend and then his kids were involved in the decision. So all of us had to be on the same page, which is not an easy thing if you know. So the book came first. So it's not like I named Sunny after the book, but she just felt like such a representation of like, the sunshine.
So cute.
It is very cute. Now, I mean, this isn't like a book of, hey, this is my, like, people write books as like memoir style, you're writing about. It's very, like you said, devotional, very inspirational. How do you guys come up with all of these? That's really it's a silly question, but like 100? That's a lot. That's a lot of like positivity.
It was 365. And we were like, okay, we're going to start with 100.
Yeah.
Maybe
We were
the
going to
next
do
book.
one for every day of the year. And then we were like, 100 feels like a good number.
Did you split it? Did you collab on all of them together?
We split it.
But we also really like, I have a lot of personal stories, so I like to express through personal stories. And Raquelle's really good with the Bible and the interpretation, so like it was actually really good.
And I have a lot of personal stories. I think I'm maybe a little bit more private than you, so I was able to.
No, you still shared them.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
did share
like your
stuff.
strength,
Yeah.
like we have different strengths, and so it was like really good to kind of be able to come together in those ways.
Yeah, and so obviously, like the book, there is very devotional. There's a lot of Bible. What is why am I spacing
Passages?
Passages, yes. I'm like, I was about to say lyrics, like it's a song.
Scripture.
I was literally about to say lyrics. But I feel like anybody could read this book. Do you feel like, how do you want to market this to everybody and not just those that are spiritual or have faith?
So it's a book for everybody, and it's very digestible. So it's 100 days to finding the hope and joy you want. So you can read it in a couple of days, but it's meant to be a 100-day journey. So you read a page a day. And, developing the sunshine mindset, we always say it's not like a quick fix or a formula. It's the way that you live your life. So for example, like, it's choosing to forgive instead of retaliating. It's, taking disappointments as lessons learned. It's taking the high road, all of those things. And through practicing that in your day-to-day life, you sort of develop this sunshine mindset, which I think is a lifelong journey. And the reason that it's a book for everybody is because what I found is that when your inner life is strong, you can handle anything that comes your way. So when good things happen to you, you get the job, you get the promotion, get the relationship you've always wanted. It humbles you and fills you with gratitude as opposed to ego or arrogance. And when bad things happen, it's your strong inner life, your spirit that sustains you and everything in between. So even in the mundane, when life feels kind of blah or boring or whatever, the spirit your inner life is what fills you with inspiration, with awe to carry on or to find what else is next for you. And so it's a book for everybody because we all need to have a strong inner life. I think that's really the only way to handle this world, to live a life of peace. And so, yeah, it absolutely is for everyone.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And like you mentioned, you know, it's not supposed to just, you could read it in a couple of days,
yeah.
but it's more so like take your time with it. And I think it's one of those books that like, if you're having a stressful day, it's the perfect book to turn to and be like, let me just read a page of this, reflect a little bit and remind yourself of what you said. Like you need sort of that inner peace to be okay with bad things happening, or not bad, but anything that could just anything simple that can mess up your day, or anything a bad great, photo. Honestly, well, guys, like,
it can make you dark. It can make you dark.
It can get dark.
I know.
Really
I know it.
But Raquelle, I feel like everything we hear about you, you know, we know Tanya so well, but we've heard so many great things about you just being like a really solid friend. Like Tanya just said, like you're a rock. You know, we saw in the Selena Gomez documentary that you just seem to be like a person that anybody can go to, and you're gonna kind of tell it how it is, but also be there for that person. How do you navigate that? Like, you know, maybe your friend might be wrong or whatever, and you want to help them, but you also want to tell it how it is.
Yeah. Well, I think the number one character trait that I admire in a friendship is authenticity. And I think you can't have authentic friendships without being able to tell the truth. So I welcome that in my life, and I also give that as a friend. And so,
she does.
She does. And so I think if we're not doing that, then we're just not having real friendships. I mean, can you think of anybody in your life, a family or a friend, where if you guys aren't being real and honest with each other, then it's just not, it's not an authentic friendship. And so my friends are like the love of my life. I love my friends so much, and my friends love me. And I think that the reason for that is because it is real. And so, yeah, I mean...
I will tell
I
you.
totally agree with that.
I will tell you, in my relationship, early days of my relationship, Raquelle was like my only friend that was constant. She was like, love is patient. Love is patient. Why does the Bible always say love is patient? It's the first thing it says. Be patient with him.
Blew my mind in the scripture, because when you guys have probably heard it throughout. It's a scripture that's commonly referenced. It says love is patient, love is kind, love is not jealous, blah, blah, blah. But I was always like,
said at weddings.
Why does it start with...
It's always said at weddings.
It's always, but it can be applied to all relationships. And it's like, why does it start with patience? Patience is the last thing that you think of when you think of love, right? You think of maybe like, I don't know, good feelings, kindness, all of that stuff, but you don't think of patience. And I think in order to truly love, it requires a lot of patience.
Yeah, and I'd be like looking at her like I'd want her on my side. Like, no, I've been really patient. Like, it's time. And she's like, no, he's there. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you want your friend to like get in there with you. And she was just like, no. And like, she was right.
Yeah. Aww. I think that is a really, really good friend to have. I think those qualities are super important, because you want people to support you, of course, but you don't want yes people. Right?
No.
There's a difference between like being supportive and being just like, yeah, whatever you say. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we spoke about it after Selena's documentary came out.
Tanya sent it to me. It was,
we were like, what kind, people watching that we're not like, that's friendship. Like, you have to be able to be honest with each other and have these conversations. Like, nobody, whether you're Selena Gomez and like the most famous woman in the world, or like us, you don't want somebody that's just gonna agree with you all the time and say like, you're so great and yes and yes and yes. So it's like that's friendship, and I feel like Tanya's reiterated how good of a friend that you are.
You.
Yeah, I remember, and you had commented too. We were like, this is wild. Like,
yeah, it was so
and
wild.
I was actually happy you commented, because I was like, oh, maybe that'll mean Raquelle will see it, because we obviously didn't know you.
I did see it, and I was so kind.
And I was
you guys said,
we don't know her, but I'm getting aggravated for her, because people just take anything and just run with it.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I know anytime you do anything public in life, right, you're subject to opinions of other people. That's if you don't, you just don't even go there if you're not willing to be able to take the heat. But the biggest thing for me was that the documentary was a beautiful piece of work that Selena so vulnerably shared with the world. It was her life story, and part of what was included in that documentary was our friendship, which is special and it's honest and it's real. And so, you know, I think what it's a good reminder of is that when people are scrolling through Instagram or they're scrolling through TikTok or you're watching a documentary, you're getting a small glimpse into someone's life. You're not seeing the full picture. And the truth is, we've had a friendship for the last decade because it's real, it's honest, and I'm so grateful for that, and I'm grateful that it was included in the documentary, because I think that it is important to see, and I think it's amazing that Selena welcomes honesty in her friendships, and I welcome that in my life too. And I'm sure you girls do as well. And
but also think about how good it is. Like, okay, let's if you're going through something and you just want to bash your boyfriend breaks up with you, and you want your girlfriend to just bash him with you, like, oh, he sucks, he's this, he's that. That just goes, you just go darker. You know what I mean? It's not a place of light. You know what I mean? Like it only takes you.
You need someone that's.
And I also sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, people always want to find the negative in everything. So like you said, she was very vulnerable. Shared this whole story. There were so many things to take out of that documentary, and the one thing people took out of that was your guys' friendship in a negative light. And I was like, there were so many other important things that people should be talking about from this documentary. That it's
so many,
but it's people wanting to be negative, but you guys are two bright lights.
So the sunshine mind, what is it? It's being above the noise. It's not giving energy to hate. It's focusing on the good.
No, and if you guys would have seen her through, I mean, it was like she's just unshakable. Like, you know what I mean? Like she knows who she is. She knows what type of friend she is.
That's the other thing too. And I think this is important for people as well when we talk about, you know, doing the 100-day journey, strengthening your inner life. When your inner life is strong and you're living a life with integrity, you sleep peacefully every single night. And it doesn't matter what you face, what you go through, there's a peace that comes with living a life of integrity. And so I really am secure in who I am. I know the kind of friend that I am. So, you know, anyone really could say anything, but I have a peace that is unshakable. Truly.
Totally being secure with yourself is so important.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a really great message to have out there. And like you said, if you'll sleep better at night.
Yeah,
if you're not
you will.
Worrying, you know yourself. You're like, I know myself and I'm okay with it.
Yeah. You guys have gotten some phenomenal endorsements. I mean, Selena wrote the foreword for the book.
Wasn't it beautiful?
It's beautiful. It's so nice. And then I also saw, like, Tanya, you were sharing other endorsements on Instagram as well from other people who know and love you guys. And what is that feeling like when you put your work out there and you get it endorsed in such a nice way by all these people in your life?
It's so funny because, like, obviously Selena and Sophia are, like, you know, family to us.
Yeah.
But like Devon Franklin is somebody that I've admired so much, just personally, professionally. I've just really looked up to him. And I remember I was like really nervous.
I remember you texted me.
I was like nervous to ask him to do the endorsement. And he could not have been more happy to do it. And everybody that endorsed the book were so happy to do it and willing and just wanted to be a part. And so it's really interesting because I have a podcast. I do a morning show. I create content daily that just goes out, but it's weird. It's so different to have a book that's like a physical thing that people are going to go back to. And like, I don't know, it's just been a totally different process.
What was the feeling like seeing it in the bookstore? Because I know, like, you know, I love a good bookstore, but there's not that many that are exist
we did a
anymore,
book signing on Monday at Barnes & Noble at the Grove, and we were... You know,
that's
we were
dream.
nervous
the
to
Barnes
go.
We're like the Grove. I feel like is the dream.
It was the dream. It was the dream, and it was pretty surreal.
No, we like thought nobody was there because it's a huge Barnes and Noble, and I was like, oh my gosh, Raquelle, nobody's here.
I'm like, it's okay. Our parents are coming.
Our
friends, distant family members.
Like I knew our friends were coming, so I knew at least like 20 people would be there, but I was like, oh my gosh, there's nobody here. But I didn't realize how big the store was. So by the time I got up to the third floor and I saw this crazy line, I got really emotional. I saw my parents, like it was just really emotional.
It was really special.
Yeah.
Your dad is too cute. It
was so funny. So he walks up to the crowd before we got there and everybody started cheering and he was like, And I think he was like, I think they knew I was your dad because my hat said Rad Dad on it. And I was like, no, Dad. People like know. He doesn't have social media, so he like, doesn't know. It was so cute.
I love the text you posted.
The text.
He goes, I have no complaints about the book.
Complaints.
I'm like,
first review.
Good to know.
Great.
Great.
Because if you had complaints, we'd change it.
Right.
Yeah.
It'd be very concerning.
Well, I know. Isn't that nice? Like, it's like, well, Dad, the book's published already. So
if you had complaints,
if you had complaints,
can do about it.
Please don't share them.
I purposefully didn't share the writing process with anybody aside obviously like from us, but I don't think even I had my boyfriend read any of it. I just wanted no outside opinion. I just wanted to just like
don't want to second guess yourself.
No.
Yeah.
Now that you guys have done this one, do you want to keep it going? Make it more of like a series?
365. Let's see. I mean, I'm open to anything.
365.
Here's the thing. My heart is to help as many people as possible. And so with this book, once we're finished with all the press stuff, what we really want to do is go into schools, high schools, colleges across the US and talk to people face to face on the ground, hear their stories as well. And so, if that continues to help people and there's another opportunity to do another book, absolutely.
Yeah, and like look, it's like all the things that we're going through like on a public scale or whatever, everybody's going through in their lives. You know, it's not we're all dealing with the same things on social media, people being awful, you know, and so if we can kind of really get in there to especially girls at a younger age, I think it could be really beneficial
for
because
sure.
I think
you mentioned high school and
even
college
just
is
for
like
me, I'm thinking like to read a page of this in the morning instead of immediately opening Instagram when I wake up would be so calming.
Even just a little bit of help. And I'm thinking
it would be so like because that really is such you want to start with such a positive like you want to start your day positive.
How do you girls keep a positive mindset?
It's hard.
I've just been through so many like big things here now that I have heard the worst of it that I don't think I need, you know what I mean? Like
I kind of feel the same. It's like the more that you go through in life, you develop this kind of I call it like an inner growth muscle where you're like, okay.
And I also feel what you were saying before when you were like, I'm so okay with myself. Like I am okay with like decisions I have made and I feel very happy with my life.
Yeah.
Now that I'm like, that's how I keep a positive mind where I'm like, I really like love how much I've grown. I love my life right now. So it's like, I feel okay with myself. So
yeah. For me, it's more just like you're always worried about the next thing or what's coming up, what you have down the line, what's life going to look like in a year, or like I have to be at work and doing. Like I have to be working as hard as I possibly can, which yes, absolutely. But sometimes I think I like don't stop to appreciate everything. Like so lucky, our job is great. Like we have great people in our lives. Our family is healthy, and like we have all these great things, great group of friends. And I'm just like, you're always just kind of hustling and moving, and then you need like I've been trying to take more time to appreciate those things, which is hard because you do get totally taken down with the negative sometimes, whether that's being on social media, reading the news, being like on TikTok,
like you focus on it, you know what I mean? Like you could have 100, like we could have 100 amazing reviews on the book, and that one negative one I'll be thinking about forever. It's like when I started in my career, like there was one person that was really awful, and it still sticks with me. Like I feel like I'm on the other side now, you know, but I had imposter syndrome for like the first 10 years of my career because I was like, oh, my personality's too much. I'm too this, I'm too that. You know what I mean? And so it's like we focus on the...
You always remember the one thing. And
but it's like also too, like I think that Raquelle and I are very different in ways, and I think that, you know, anybody can find something to do. Like whenever I'm having issues with my body or having body image issues, like I will take Post-its and like, you know, speak kindly over my body and put it on the thing, and I'll look at my body naked in the mirror every day and like speak these things. But it was weird at first. It was like so weird to do at first, and then I got really comfortable doing it, and I really feel like I was like at the end of it, I was like, I really feel this, you know?
No, it's great because I think a lot of people do that and they go straight to the negative. It's like, oh, I don't like the way my arms look, and I don't like the way my stomach looks, and like so it's a good way to flip that to be like, well, I like these things.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
Yeah. I think I look at my body naked in the mirror too much. Like I gotta start like doing it like you, like where it's like, you know, I'm just gonna appreciate this for a second.
That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh. Well, you guys keep it so positive, and I feel like sometimes when you're also so entranced is the wrong word.
Entranced. I like that word.
Sometimes you throw out a word where I'm like,
Yeah, I know.
I don't even know
that
what
was
that
the wrong
means.
to be honest, that was the wrong word to use. I'm going to simplify it instead of trying to sound smart. You guys are so surrounded by like Hollywood and the lights and the glimmer and the glamour, and you're hosting so much and doing all these events, and you see everything that's going on. How do you kind of like keep like your mind on reality of what's real and like what's going on besides getting caught up in the Hollywood?
Well, it comes back to faith and having a strong inner life and seeing people as human beings. And I think that, yes, we can admire people who are successful, who are further along than us and who have done amazing things. But when you understand that at the end of the day, we all go to the bathroom, we all, we're all born, we all die, we're all human. You see people as people. And so when you walk into any situation, no matter how glamorous or amazing it is or who's in the room, you can admire it and you can be like, wow, this is really cool, this is really amazing. But you see people as people.
Yeah.
And I think that that's how you stay grounded and go through this.
Yeah, it's interesting for me because I feel like, there are times obviously where I go out and I'm not working, but I feel like I would go to these things and I would work.
Yeah.
And I remember early on when I was like in LA and like trying to make friends, my work is very early in the morning, and so I couldn't go to like a lot of these things. Everybody would invite me to all kinds of things, but I was like always working, and so I was like, I'm never gonna make friends because I can't, go to the beach at noon on a Tuesday. But it was like I really got to like, Raquelle would meet me for coffee or meet me for like lunch or meet me in a courtyard, and it was like those friends that really wanted to be my friend figured out how to, hang out with me, not, because I couldn't necessarily do everything. So it's interesting because it's like, making friends as an adult is so weird.
Yeah. Especially I feel like in a place like LA, like Fran mentioned, and I don't think we've talked that poorly about LA. I think it more comes from a place of intimidation, of like being intimidated by the people, because when we do go to LA, it's strictly for work. Like we're never just going to like,
well, next time you come, we'll come hang out. Yeah. We'll do something fun.
We always, and we do interviews and stuff, and like we'll end up doing really cool things, but always end up feeling like intimidated a little bit because I'm just like, I don't know if I'd be able to live here.
There's always something going on.
But then you realize that you wouldn't, if you lived there, like you wouldn't be doing these things every day.
There's also always something going on in New York. We just aren't. We're not doing that either.
Right.
Like,
so it's just what like.
But I think, I would feel a similar way when I come to New York, too. I think it's wherever you live, you get comfortable and it becomes your norm. And then you go somewhere new and you're like, whoa, this is wild. But I think that,
Yeah.
Dating in LA is like a whole nother story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do you say that? I mean, you're very happy now.
But happy now.
But before
it was
that,
a journey to get him.
Like, why do you think? Is it just like
I don't
ego?
know. I think there's like a little bit
that happens in New York too. I mean,
yeah, there's also a little bit of like bigger, better deal syndrome, the Peter Pan syndrome. I don't know. I was finding, and it's actually I dated some really great guys, but they just like weren't for me. Either my career was too much, and what I did for a living was too much, or it just didn't work. You know what I mean? Like, but I think I dated every possible human there.
type of person.
This is like I dated every type. I really got around LA.
Like, I really dated all of them.
every type of person in LA.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it brought you to
correct
the right one.
Yeah,
he's the best.
You guys are so
love
cute.
watching
Love
you guys
Robbie so much.
Relationship. Like I just think you guys are so cute. Like I love when you post videos of him and you're like, oh, like he's so hot. Like that makes me laugh because sometimes I want to do that with my boyfriend, but like people.
How long
would,
have you been
rip it
dating your
apart.
boyfriend?
Like a year.
Okay.
So, but it's just funny because I'm like, I can never do that, but I admire that you
I like
do that.
I don't care. I'm like, I'm drooling over your hands. Like, and actually, what's really crazy is that when we decided when we were doing this book, we didn't have any agents involved. We did it totally like grassroots, and my boyfriend's an attorney, so he helped with the actual deal of it all, which was like so special because it was like I really trust him. He wants my best interest, her best interest. So it really felt like a family.
Yeah, it did.
I love the way it seems like how he treats your friends. Like I see his relationship with Becca and like it's
like
so
family.
Cute.
Yeah, he like texted Raquelle the first day that we had press for the book, and like I'm just like I'm so obsessed with him. Like
so
truly
sweet.
so obsessed with him.
I love that.
Raquelle, where did you grow up?
I grew up between Chicago and England, and then I moved to LA when I was 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so funky.
I know Chicago and England like very.
I know.
But you know what? I think in hindsight, I'm like I feel
It's
like
funny because I can kind of hear like a little Chicago.
Oh yeah, Chicago comes out.
Yeah,
for sure.
like,
And
just
then
really? Yeah.
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 Like even maybe just the way you say Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah, like
But yeah, I think growing up different places, I also moved around all the time, even within England, within Chicago, and
England, like England.
Yeah, England, Cambridge, England.
What other England
I had
is
a
there?
British accent as a child.
Like
I had a
I'm
British
just making
accent.
sure, you know, because
Ria's going to London in April.
I'm going to London in April.
for the first time.
You
She's
are
like,
going to
yeah.
love London.
I have
I've never been
always
either,
wanted
but-
to go. Well, like not always. Actually, in the past
kind of recent.
like 2 years, like I've been having dreams about London, like all this stuff about London, and then my boyfriend for Christmas surprised me with a trip to London, and so I'm very excited. But when you just said England and you said England and Chicago, I was like, is she like shortening New England? You know, like Connecticut.
Yeah, because I didn't say
Boston,
London because I grew up in Cambridge. So when I say
Yeah.
London, then people are like, "Oh, you grew up in the city."
Yeah,
I grew up
yeah.
in Cambridge, which is about an hour and a half outside of London. But
Interesting.
you are gonna love it. I always say like I could live between LA and London. They're my like happy places.
I'm so excited. What about the McDonald's there? I was just talking about
It's
this.
not great. Do not like the food that's really good in the U.S. Don't eat it in London. Yeah.
Because I was talking about how they have, you know, McDonald's in different countries have all different items, and I was like, I get there really late the first night. I'm really excited to get McDonald's. But
Oh well,
Raquelle,
try it. I'm sorry, I don't want to crush your dreams
to
of
be honest,
McDonald's.
I've heard about London. I've heard it about Paris. I've heard that the one
You
in
have
France
to
is
get
good.
like the bread is really amazing
Listen,
in
like,
England.
I'm
the
gonna
pastries,
do all, like, the good
like
stuff,
the,
of
the
course.
English
McDonald's.
breakfast.
I'm not focused on Tanya, we're not doing this. Yeah. I'm not focused on the McDonald's for my trip. It was just the late night when I first get there because they have different items.
How long are you going for?
It's a Tuesday to Sunday, so it's a good amount of time.
You're gonna have so much fun.
I'm really looking.
I'm gonna
for
get
some-
your info after this, and I'll send you
Please,
some
give me
good,
some really good
places.
recommendations because I need them. I want like that good like donuts, pastries.
Oh no, I'll send you
whatever it is.
everything. You're gonna love it. You're gonna
That's
love it.
exactly
was like,
what you need.
England, right?
Yeah.
Like the true
Yeah.
England. What made you move to LA?
So I was in my first semester of college in Chicago, and I wasn't loving my school, and I went through a breakup, and my whole family was moving to LA, and they were like, do you want to move with us or do you want to stay? And I was like, now that I went through this breakup, you know what? I think I want to change. I'll move. And it's so crazy because at the time that was devastating to me. I probably would have been one of those girls that like got married young and stayed in Chicago. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I moved to LA, and in the beginning, I wrote about it in the book. It was extremely difficult. It's a very hard city to get integrated into. Like you girls are saying, you come, it's really intimidating. I would make plans with people that I had like met at church or something, and then people just like don't show up to the plan, or they bail on you.
That's a big thing in LA. People just are not showing up.
Not showing up. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'm social. I love people. And it was
Yeah.
really hard. I had my family, and I, was taking community college classes, and I was working, but it was really hard to meet people. And so I prayed. I still remember I was driving down this street called Highland, and I was crying. Called Highland. And I was crying, and I said, God, if this is where I'm meant to be, I pray that you would make it really clear, and that I would make the best friends I've made in my life. And I'm giving it a 1-year timeline, or I'm going back to Chicago. And I can't believe it. Like, God really pulled through, you guys.
Yeah.
That Christmas, my parents knew a couple. We went to their house. I made friends with their son. He at the time was living with Jason Kennedy, who was a host for E! News, which was how
you met
How
Tanya.
I met
because I
Tanya.
was
Amazing.
working in the same building as Jason, and me too. I was going through a breakup, and Jason would just see me crying in the halls every day, and like had no idea what I was going through, but just saw me crying every day. And,
Blonde girl's
we
crying
need
again.
Yeah, he's like, I gotta talk to her.
yeah, and so he like came over in the hall and was like, I don't know what you're going through, but I'm doing a Bible study tonight if you want to join. And I literally was like, what about a single friend? Like, do you have a single friend? Or like,
Bible or like you're
yeah,
a single
I was like,
guy.
this is what he's offering me. But I went, and that's the night I met Raquelle and a couple of our other friends that we're still friends with, and like I really like changed my life.
But no, Jason and Jordan were so sweet to me because they really included me into their friend group. And then I, made my core group of friends really through that Bible study.
No, Jason Kennedy is like salt of the earth.
Yeah.
And then you guys actually showed up for the coffee dates with each other.
We showed up. Yeah, we didn't bail.
How did you meet Sophia Carson?
So we met, actually I met her before Descendants.
Okay.
So
I didn't even know this. I'm like, I'm curious.
So it was at the Radio Disney Awards. It was like the Radio Disney Awards. I was there with Charlie Walk, and she was there with her sister Paulina.
Yeah.
And we were seated next to each other for the award show, and we literally, this was before Descendants came out, so I didn't know her or anything.
Yeah.
And the three of us just had like totally hit it off. Had the best time, and like literally it was like instant. Like we became like the Three Musketeers like in that moment. And then Descendants happened, and it was like this crazy.
Yeah.
I was not you know what I mean? Like I didn't.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And then I had just started my career too,
Disney
so
bump.
we've kind of It was
I know, and I mean I asked too because I just feel like she's had Purple Hearts. I loved. I thought it was.
I loved it too. Wasn't it
We had her
good?
on over Zoom, right?
We did, yeah.
Like a
Purple
while
Hearts,
ago.
and then also like the Grammy nomination or Oscar
Oscar
nomination. So like so very cool things.
And honestly, nobody deserves it. Like she's also one of those people.
she seems so. I mean, over Zoom,
She
it's hard.
is what you see is what you get. Like she is kind, she is nice, she is thoughtful, she is
Very hardworking.
hardworking, shows up, is nice to everybody, has no ego. You know what I mean? Like she is.
Yeah.
And so it's like I just want her to keep, like, when Purple Hearts did what it did, it was
She was so deserving. Yeah.
so deserving, and it was like so amazing because she really works hard and she picks projects that she believes in. You know what I mean? She's not just like saying yes to everything.
Yeah,
Right.
I
It
loved
seems like
and
you
the
guys
song was so good.
have made incredible friendships, and I think that people listening to this can really take something away from the way you guys look at your friendships and how you treat people and how your friends treat you.
Especially young girls that are trying to navigate friendships.
because
like in their
sometimes-
early 20s can be so hard.
Sometimes you have friends that you want to be friends with them, but they're not giving you what you give to them or what you think you should be getting back, or and I think
two-way
it's
street.
important
Totally.
to realize what goes into a friendship, and also when it's time to like call it quits on a friendship as well.
I feel like a lot of people do that. Like they're just, I've been friends with this person for so long, so But if there's somebody, I just feel like there's so much about being with people that align with you morally, and I just think also your friendships are everything in life. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of time we focus on a romantic relationship, and I love my romantic relationship, and I always wanted that, but it's all your relationships in life, and so I think making sure that you.
Well, I also think the older you get, the more you know who you are, what you want, what you admire in a friendship. Like it does get a little bit easier, I think, with time. And also you get more of a backbone to be like, okay, you know what? This is not going to accept that anymore. And I do think it's important to, like, if a friendship is kind of fizzling out or whatever, sometimes to even have those conversations of like, hey, I have so much love for you and respect for what our friendship's been, and like I notice there's been some distance now, and that's okay. Like I want you to know that I always have love for you.
Yeah.
And communicating.
I think
communication is
about
important.
It's the best when you both know, like, no matter what, maybe you don't see each other all the time, but if you do make that plan to see each other, you're both going to show up and it's going to feel good. Like sometimes I think people have friendships that you maybe grew up together, or you feel like an obligation, where when those plans come around, you like, it stresses you out. You're like, oh, I really like, this is a lot. Like it's you got to prioritize.
And like relationships are work,
Yeah.
Like even friendships, like every relationship is work. And I think it's also just being, again, like super communicative, and like, again, like with my work schedule, I like to do stuff early. So if my girlfriends want to do dinner, I'm like, can we go at 5:36? 8:39.
I'm such a 5:36 dinner person.
Yeah.
I get
But
made
it's like
fun of all the time.
meeting in the middle, and also like communicating. I feel like when I shifted to being in a serious relationship, your time constraints are different, and so it's like communicating that and just being like, I am sorry, like I'm not around, but I want to see you, and like making time, and we all go through different seasons.
Exactly. And it's nice when your significant other does fit with your friends.
That's
Very
ideal,
nice.
right?
It's ideal.
That is ideal. It doesn't. It's
ideal.
A lot of people. It doesn't happen for a lot of people. When it does happen, it definitely is extremely helpful. I would say it is very nice. But I mean, thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you guys.
Oh, thank you for having us.
This has been
You guys
so
lifted
great.
up my day. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I know. I sometimes, and also like, now I'm ready. I feel like I want to read it, but I also like want to take the time to do it slowly. So I feel like maybe I'll do one a day.
It's an audio version too. So I always like to say for people really listening or for you girls, if you prefer to listen, it is available in audio, and we read it ourselves. So that's a cool option.
And there's a table of contents really too.
Cool.
So if like you want to just, if you're feeling like you need something, like you can kind of like go that
Sometimes
route.
listening to something or watching something calms me down. So that's really nice. That's nice.
Definitely. Well, guys, the book is everywhere.
Yes.
You can buy it. You can listen to it. Get it online. Get it in stores. Get it on Amazon.
Leave a nice review.
Manifesting?
Leave a nice review.
I'm like, are you pulling are you Kelty like manifesting?
Yeah,
need the stamp on here.
I saw Kelty posting about that too. She's so funny. She's
I
like
know.
bestseller.
I know. She had like a whole poster and was like, as they were selling more, she would fill the thing. I'm not going that hardcore because I also don't. I'm a big person in not being attached to the outcome. Like open to the possibility, not attached to the outcome. And so I don't want to be so attached to a New York Times bestseller that if it doesn't happen, then I'm disappointed.
Right.
But I obviously really want it, so we're pushing really hard.
But and I also think every single life is so important, right? So if we touch even one person, if they go through this book and they're like, you know what, I feel stronger, I feel less alone, that is worth it.
Oh, and it's already already doing what we want.
Yeah, we're not attached to the outcome at all, and of course it would be amazing, but we're so grateful that it's out and that people can get their hands on it now.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you ladies so much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Like I said, make sure you pick up your copy, order it, go into the stores. You guys doing more signings?
No, that was it.
No, that was it.
If you missed the Grove.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe down the road.
Yeah,
maybe down the road. Maybe down the road in New York.
Maybe down the road. I'm sure people would love it. But
I would love to. I would love to do it.
Yeah.
But
will you girls come if we do a signing in New York?
Absolutely.
I will stand in the line too. I don't even want to be skipped ahead or anything. I want to stand in that line.
I'll buy a new copy.
We will contribute.
Yeah. So once again, thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys so much.
This was amazing.